this is all coming from the private equity money pushing MLS in this direction of, you already have these teams. You have clubs that are operating these teams. They want a place for their younger players, their academy graduates, and their reserves to play. We can turn this into minor league baseball.
One of Major League Soccer's reserve teams in the MLS Next Pro is set to pick up and move town. We thought it was good time as ever to ask the question, what is MLS Next Pro? There are 27 teams. Montreal, DC United, San Diego FC do not operate MLS Next Pro reserve teams.
Go through those individually so that we can take them one by one.
Montreal is Joey Saputo. Joey Saputo is cheap. I think they're probably going to be required at some point to do something with that. I think MLS has pushed in that direction, but new commissioner, who knows? And then independent teams is Carolina Core, Chattanooga FC, which kind of made their way to, I think they might have been the first independent team, one of the first two, and kind of found themselves without a league when NISA fell apart. And in a surprising turn of events, Chattanooga FC went to MLS Next Pro. And then debuting this year was Connecticut United FC. And then in 2027, AC Grand Rapids is due to come on. Forest City Cleveland, we'll have to look into them to see if there's been more news from them. They had a big badge release thing, but I haven't heard too much going on in Cleveland recently. And in Jacksonville Armada, the Island FC, which is supposed to be on Long Island, New York. So that's
such a terrible name. That's a sci-fi movie where a couple gets separated and their memories get erased, and next thing you know, they're turned into cyborgs. That's what the Island is about.
So what's the news? What is the team that's moving?
Okay, so there is very strong evidence that NYCFC, who will be opening up a brand new state-of-the-art world-class stadium in Queens, Flushing Meadows, Queens, next year, is going to move their second team, their NYCFC 2 outfit, playing in MLS Next Pro, to Edison, New Jersey. I'm going to read you here from our friend Simon Evans, who writes at the Soccer Business newsletter. Make sure you're subscribed to Simon. He is one of our friends. He's been on the show many, many times. The last conversation with him we had was kind of on these topics. So if you want to get up to speed on what's going on with investment in lower division soccer in America, particularly the private equity kind of investment, go watch that interview. NYCFC president and CEO Brad Sims all but confirmed the move, meaning moving the team to Middlesex College Stadium in Edison, New Jersey, in a roundtable with reporters last week, telling New York Soccer Journal founder Andrew Lee, I'll give a quick answer. Yes, we're going to do it. I think we'll be one of the first teams that do it, maybe the first team that does it. He says full details to come in a month or two. He praised Hometown Soccer Holdings as, quote unquote, a smart business model, comparing it to Diamond Baseball Holdings. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that. The roughly 50-team minor league baseball consolidator built via a similar private equity partnership with Silver Lake. Hometown Soccer Holdings is led by CEO Tom Glick, who previously served as NYCFC's own president from 2015 to 2016. It's not public yet, confirmed officially. There's no, hey, we're definitely doing this thing. Get ready for NYCFC soccer in New Jersey. And of course, they would definitely rebrand if they did this. We kind of got that impression, or were given those clues by the whole Hometown Soccer Holding investment. But Rob, I'm going to bring up a map for you. You ready for a map? I love a map. I'm I'm a huge map guy.
We're 35 minutes in and we haven't hit a map yet, so good time.
Okay. All right, here we go. So you can see that box there. That is basically the outline of Edison, New Jersey. I don't know. There must be some other township within the outline of Edison, but you can see the word Edison, New Jersey, right? So that is down the road a bit from New York City. It's still northern Jersey. It's still Jersey, but you see where the R is in New York. You know, the city of New York. That's the bottom of Manhattan where that word goes across. And just below the R, you can see where Flushing is. That's where the new stadium for NYCFC is going to open. NYCFC made a ton of noise when they entered this league. And over the last couple of years.
Major League Soccer, that is.
Major League Soccer. NYCFC made a ton of noise about being a team for the 5 boroughs of New York. The 5 boroughs of New York City. What are the boroughs? Quick quiz, Rob. Ready for it? What are the boroughs? Of New York?
Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Longbush. Long Island, Flatbush.
No Long Island. Flatbush is a neighborhood in Brooklyn. You've already said Brooklyn. Long Island is definitely not a borough of New York City.
Is Staten Island a borough?
Staten Island is a borough. That's the one most people forget. Which one is the one you're missing? Where NYCFC currently plays their MLS matches?
Is that Manhattan?
I'll give you a hint. It starts with the.
In V as in victory?
No, the as in the article, the THE, the.
I'm blanking out here.
Wow.
I'm under the pressure here.
It's not Longbush, it's the Bronx.
Oh, okay. That's unfair. If you would have said it starts with B, then that's different. It starts with the. Come on.
Nobody says Bronx. I mean, you might say like, I'm from Bronx, New York, but unless you're from there, you're basically saying like, oh, that's the Bronx. Oh, they play in the Bronx. Anyway,
Fair enough.
Doesn't matter.
Fair enough. We'll have to go on a tour of the boroughs when I make my first trip to New York.
That's right. Rob, by the way, famously never been to New York City.
I've been to the airport. I've been to the airport. That's
okay.
it.
You have been. Okay, you've never visited the city of the fine
Right.
city of New York. Okay, so again, this is not like they're putting this team in the general. Even Long Island, right? Long Island, even that, which is to the east of Brooklyn, to the east of Queens. Even that would feel a little bit more close to home and therefore a natural extension of the team. This is 100% leveraging the site. Like this is all coming from the private equity money, pushing MLS in this direction of you already have these teams. You have clubs that are operating these teams. They want a place for their younger players, their academy graduates, and their reserves to play. We can turn this into minor league baseball, hence the reference to Diamond Baseball Holdings, which if you ask some people, like the people of, I don't know exactly if this is I think Pawtucket probably suffered because of Diamond Baseball Holdings on some level. Now they have a team, Rhode Island FC, which is a little Washington controversy. Shout out Kawhi Leonard. We won't get into that. We don't have time. I don't have all the details, but that city suffered the loss of their minor league baseball team in part because the consolidation of minor league baseball under the umbrella of private equity. Now, I understand that there could be an argument that none of that, some of those minor league baseball teams would have folded, relocated, dropped off the map anyway. I was a fan as a kid of a minor league baseball team in Shreveport, Louisiana called the Captains that I went to for multiple summers when my dad was stationed in Louisiana. It's why I fell in love with baseball, because I went out and watched a minor league baseball team. By the time I was 12 or 13, I had moved away. By the time I was 12 or 13, that team had relocated to Frisco, Texas, because they built them a stadium, a little minor league baseball stadium in Frisco, Texas, where FC Dallas plays. And the Captains were dead, and they tried to do an independent team. What I'm saying is that is a very chaotic world anyway, so maybe you could argue Diamond Baseball Holdings solidifies everything. But when we're talking about soccer, we're talking about MLS, the problem is none of this feels organic. None of it is, hey, Edison. I mean, maybe Edison's the right place for a soccer team, Rob. I don't know. But, man, is this how we want our lower division soccer map to be dotted through the efforts of private equity to find, again, maybe it's not any different than what USL is doing. It's just kind of a different shade.
Yeah, I almost think they're being a little bit more direct about it, but to kind of set the table of the rest of this conversation is what is MLS Next Pro, and this example of the NYCFC 2 team moving away. It's essentially, I saw quoted somewhere, they want to move the 2 teams from the training fields to become their own clubs and identities. And so one of the examples of this was started before they had a 2 team, but Huntsville is the supplier team, the 2 team to Nashville.
Yes.
And then so they kind of started away from their home base, because it's essentially, like you said, a way of creating their own farm system for Major League Soccer. So NYCFC 2 moving off the training pitch and maybe becoming New Jersey FC or something like that is what the Hometown Soccer Holdings project is all about. Can the private equity folder of money, can that be enough to build stadiums, infrastructure, and almost like rebrand a whole league of teams? So if we kind of analyze who makes up MLS Next Pro, there is 27 two teams or backup teams to existing Major League Soccer clubs. And then there's a handful of independent teams as well. So there's a couple things going on with this league all at the same time. So there's an effort to go from literally just a place for backups that really doesn't have a lot of culture or anything behind it. They just play games, and they might get called up to the first team if they need it, or the player does really well. Yeah. But this is the first step in trying to relocate all of these two teams. And then also at the same time, this is now going from just a training exercise to now wanting to dot the map in their own way. And you could say that this is now creating a competition for the expansion of the lower leagues, because teams like Grand Rapids, Chattanooga, Carolina Core, and the other independent teams that are about to come online are now competing with the USL, trying to expand their own promotion and relegation system of their own. So there's a few things at play all at the same time here.
Yeah, sorry about my camera issue. Technology is not my friend today in Puerto Rico. Hopefully everybody can hear me still. I know
you have water, right? I heard water shortages going down there, right?
Oh, yeah, no, well, everybody's got a cistern, or if you don't, you're kind of in trouble. So I agree with everything that you said. This is where I kind of fall in terms of this investment. Again, it's really hard to be too picky about these things when we have tried and failed so many times. And I'm throwing us all into the same group. Like, we're all in this together as American soccer people, right? How many leagues, how many clubs, how many shutdowns, how many relocations, how many dead teams and dead brands and dead ideas and lost fans, right? How many burned fans are there out there in America, Rob? I would dare to say millions that there are fans who supported teams, who fell in love with teams, who wanted to go out and did go out. And then one day it was like, well, the owner says he can't afford this anymore, losing money hand over fist. The city changed the terms of the stadium deal. We don't have the right backing. We don't have the right marketing. There's no revenue sharing. There's no this, there's no that, whatever it is that would help create a more stable environment. These are all independent businesses that are their hope and their heart. And it's great that that's a thing, because it means passion is mostly behind these efforts, but it does mean that we just haven't been able to get our roots in the ground. And I don't like private equity as a general idea. I don't like the steps it usually takes to return in the money, to return it on investment for its shareholders, right? The whole point of private equity is people are putting their actual money into this private equity fund to go invest in things that will return them money. People don't invest hoping to get zero return or to lose money. And soccer in this country has largely been a losing proposition. So how is private equity cracking the code on this? They have their own ideas, right? And you outlined some of what that means. And now, instead of a bunch of guys got together, and I always tell people, like, you cannot cheat time. There are only so many of these Detroit City, Chattanooga stories out there that we can possibly get, right? That those things are so unique. Those are unicorns in American soccer. I wish we had more of them. They don't happen. If you want your town, your reasonably sized town, to have professional soccer, at this moment, it's either USL backed by private equity with their own model, or it's Hometown Soccer Holdings backed by private equity with their old model. And yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's unfair probably for us, Rob, to decide for fans in Grand Rapids, which is not an outpost of an MLS team. That's an independent operation. Or Long Island. Somebody mentioned that there's going to be, I forgot about this because they haven't done anything and they had terrible AI renderings of fans in the stands. Long Island's going to get an independent MLS Next Pro team, or they're supposed to. It's not for me to decide whether Edison, New Jersey, and the people in the area who might go out to these games should feel bad about their team being a minor league outpost for NYCFC. I don't know if I should get to, right? Again, I fell in love with minor league baseball. It was my portal to baseball. I wasn't thinking at the time, like, man, I really wish the Shreveport Captains were their own thing, independent of any parent organization. I really hate the San Francisco Giants for making me feel like my baseball team isn't important. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's the thing or not.
So, an additional, just kind of like summary of what MLS Next Pro is. There are 27 teams. Montreal, DC United, San Diego FC do not operate MLS Next Pro reserve teams.
Go through those individually so that we can take them one by one.
Montreal is Joey Saputo. Joey Saputo's cheap. They will, I think they're probably going to be required at some point to do something with that. I think MLS is pushed in that direction, but new commissioner, who knows, right? So Montreal is mostly down to their being cheap. What's next? DC United.
DC United is also about being cheap. They did have Loudoun United rather. It's in Loudoun County, which I think was never an MLS Next Pro team. It was their outpost in USL when that was a relationship. Then they sold that off to another owner who now runs it independently. And then now the idea is, and this is where Carmelo Anthony is involved and the mayor of Baltimore, they made an announcement about some sort of idea of bringing a stadium and soccer to Baltimore, which I think clearly has been their idea for a long time. And now it kind of fits in with the MLS Next Pro Hometown Soccer Holdings idea for DC to have their MLS Next Pro team operate as an independently branded team in the city of Baltimore, because it came up on the show last week when I threw out the idea of, are Baltimore and DC part of the same metropolitan area? And we had lots of comments from Baltimore people saying, no chance, not at all. And I agree. There's a distinct identity to Baltimore. It's its own place. They're not going to be cool with DC United too in Baltimore.
And then the third MLS team without Next Pro side, San Diego FC.
Yeah, that one I don't get, because they have tons.
Maybe because they're so new and they knew the different, maybe
Yeah.
there's change on the horizon coming. So
Yeah.
why start a team when it's going to be different in a couple of years?
And I don't know, like, what's the obvious place to put a team if you're that far south in California? Like, are you putting a team of its own in Chula Vista? Like, I don't think you're doing that, probably. Tijuana's across the border. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I think obviously they'll probably get something together. I just don't. I'm more familiar with LA geography than I am with San Diego geography, so I couldn't tell you what the obvious place is. But obviously, there's some fun in that, right? For us to go, oh, where could their MLS Next Pro team play? Where would San Diego be able to put an MLS Next Pro team? Like, that's something fun to think about, Rob.
Another team that's kind of making this move, we got news a couple weeks ago about Toronto FC's team creating something in Barrie, Ontario. And so they're already kind of like laying the groundwork for a move off the training ground and into another community. And then another notable aspect of this pool is there's going to be 4 expansion teams that are already in the works for 2027, but there's going to be a team jumping ship as well. Ventura County, which was a surprise when the applications for leagues came out for 2027, and Ventura County, which was, I believe, LA Galaxy's 2 team, is actually going the other way to USL.
Yeah, there are some, and we did cover that story. It is an interesting turn of events. I don't know exactly what that means. You may see a reshuffling here. You may see some of the groups that were previously attached to the MLS Next Pro idea decide USL is maybe a better place for them. USL, and again, like, I think the wisdom here is that Justin Papadakis just got a little bit too monorail salesman with his bouncing around the country and signing NDAs or development deals or whatever we call those, exploration of letters of memorandums of understanding, that kind of stuff. Because he was obviously pushed out, and maybe USL and their private equity backers want to be a little bit more not discreet, but like a little bit less kind of cast a wide net and a little bit more selective in the markets that they choose. This is going to be a little soccer wars, right? It's going to be about incentives. So I don't know. Armando was saying that Ventura County is supposed to launch next season, and there's been zero news, no promotion, zero zip nada, which is not a good sign at all. I mean, we know this. How long have we been waiting for Santa Barbara? to get started to actually play any soccer matches, Rob. We had a badge before we had anything. They've had ownership issues. So the world of lower division soccer. It's not easy. And again, this is why what Hometown Soccer Holdings is selling is attractive to certain people who might want to invest in the game here, because they're kind of the turnkey option on some level. Now, if you want to go fully independent, you do a Grand Rapids, you find a way to build a stadium. But and if you're in a moment of civic growth and there are elected officials willing to back you in those efforts, then you might be able to get that off the ground. Then who knows? And I wonder how these two competitions, and I wonder how MLS Next Pro, as long as they have the MLS name on it, that's going to have weight, right? If you go to a mayor or a city
People in
council,
Grand Rapids don't know what Next Pro is. They think they're getting an MLS team.
I mean, maybe they do, maybe they don't have, maybe they've made some. I think that's fairly delusional. If you live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, you're like, we're getting an MLS team they'll play against LA Galaxy and that's wild to me. But maybe that's a thing. I think that's the wrong way to build fans, or to attract fans. But sure.
So to kind of update everybody, so there's 27 teams with apparently a private equity backed program to try to move those to separate communities, and then independent teams is Carolina Core, Chattanooga FC, which kind of made their way to, I think they might have been the first independent team, one of the first two, and kind of found themselves without a league when NISA fell apart. And in a surprising turn of events, Chattanooga FC went to MLS Next Pro. And then debuting this year was Connecticut United FC. And then in 2027, AC Grand Rapids is due to come on. Forest City Cleveland, we'll have to look into them to see if there's been more news from them. They had a big badge release thing, but I haven't heard too much going on in Cleveland recently. And in Jacksonville Armada, the Island FC, which is supposed to be on Long Island, New York. So that's
such a terrible name. That's a sci-fi movie where a couple gets separated and their memories get erased, and next thing you know, they're turned into cyborgs. That's what the Island is about.
Yeah, the replacements is like if you die, they bring some a duplicate from the island or something. And then Toronto FC2 in Barrie, Ontario. So there is already, at least on paper, there is going to be an injection of teams, especially independent teams, coming to MLS Next Pro at this, what will be the third or fourth level of professional soccer?
Yeah, I think third division is the idea. So let's get it. Marcus, in here. I'm in Puerto Rico, it's in my head. Marcus is here. We don't know when the contest, this is about Ventura County, right? We don't know when their contract states, but I can guarantee you it states you can't promote a competing entity while doing business with the Galaxy. So what Marcus is saying is people are saying that there's no word on Ventura County. It's quiet, that bodes ill. Is what he's saying is that up until this season, through this season, they have a deal with the Galaxy as their MLS Next Pro outlet. So they can't be promoting their move to USL while they're in a contract with somebody from a different competition. That makes sense.
Like I said, on paper, it sounds like there's some delays already.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a delay that's understandable, but it obviously puts them behind the eight ball in terms of growing, getting their fans to understand what's happening and transitioning to MLS, to USL rather. Marcus is also saying 4 teams are not coming in 2027. Long Island has not started their construction. Shocking with their use of AI. The Armada is lost to the world. And so it's really just Grand Rapids for 2027.